So how much of this is Trump amnesia, where people have deluded themselves so the economy was better than actually it was when Trump was in office? And how much of this is simply inflation, which just angers people? Right. And honestly, there's not much a president can do about it.
Well, people hate inflation, and the idea that something you bought is now, significantly higher is just
it's infuriating.
Voters hate that.
Another takeaway from the polling of these swing state voters, which is where the election's going to be won or lost. Lauren Leader is these voters saying they're more worried about Biden setting economic policy than about Trump setting abortion policy. And if anyone thinks that it can't get worse, it can.
Yeah, so you just heard it there. Things are going well for the Democrats and the left. You just heard it. They took a poll, right? And that poll showed that people are more concerned with Joe Biden destroying the economy than they are about abortion. And I was saying this in previous videos, and a lot of you actually agreed that was all the Democrats had. That's all they have. And I said that Trump was smart for taking that off of the table for Democrats to use, for Democrats to weaponize against him. And he's done an effective job at doing it. They don't have that as a weapon anymore. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
Donald Trump taking his MAGA message to a blue stronghold, a majority-minority district right here in New York City, and demonizing immigrants as he aims to appeal to Black and Hispanic voters.
They're coming from so many places we don't have any idea. In many cases, we don't even know what the language. You have languages that people don't even know about. And we're not talking about just South America countries. We're talking about countries from Africa. I think they're building an army. They had 29,000 people over the last. I think they want to get us from within.
Notice, I don't know if y'all caught it, but when he said, and I'm not just talking about South American countries, I'm talking about Africa, and they cut it off right there. Did y'all catch that? I'm gonna play it back because I do think that is a little noteworthy because I pay attention to stuff like that. Like when they try to play these little silly games where Trump will say something and they'll chop it, they'll cut it. You won't get the rest of what he was saying. They did that to make it sound like doesn't like black people or something, right? But listen to it again.
And we're not talking about just South America countries. We're talking about countries from Africa. I think they're building an army. They had 29.
You see? That was intentional. He said other countries, but they cut it right there at Africa. Now, why would they do such a thing? They think they're slick. Tricks off for kids. I'm going to give them the finger wave like the Kimbe Mutombo. No. You are not going to slide. You're not going to slide that one by. Not by us. Absolutely not.
1,000 people over the last. I think they want to get us from within. They cannot stay. We will immediately begin the largest criminal deportation operation in our country's history.
Joining us now, NBC News correspondent Dasha Burns, who was there at this event.
Also note that they cut it off right before the crowd started chanting, "Build the wall, build the." That's a Bronx crowd. It's a Bronx crowd chanting "Build the wall," but they cut it off right before they started chanting that. And I showed you guys the clip of them chanting that yesterday. But let's continue.
Strategist for the Bush-Cheney 2004 presidential campaign, Matthew Dowd, and former Obama campaign advisor, Amisha Cross. So Dasha, you were there last night. You heard it. You talked to the people who were in that crowd. How was his message received?
Well, this might sound a little counterintuitive, but I did talk to folks in that crowd who themselves were immigrants. A lot of folks from the Dominican Republic. A lot of people that I talked to were born and raised in the Bronx. For some of them, this was their first ever Trump event. And when you talk to immigrants that are going to these Trump rallies, they agree with his message on immigration. Their point is, look, I did it the right way. I came here legally, and especially those living in New York right now, the sentiment I heard from a lot of voters was, we have these immigrants right now that the city is taking care of in a way that I've never felt taken care of by this city. It was a large crowd and a diverse crowd. Yes, there were some people from Westchester, from New Jersey, but there were a lot of people there that were from the Bronx, Black and Latino voters that are sick of how much they're paying for gas and groceries, that are frustrated with the situation at the border, and that find President Biden's rhetoric when it comes to minority voters, a little bit offensive. Take a listen.
Legal troubles. Does any of that worry you at all?
No, at all. I think he's going to be elected the president because everyone still wants him as the president. So to me, it doesn't matter.
Biden, they have disrespected the people of the city of New York. This was the best city in the world. We're not the great apple anymore. We're not the big apple. We are the rotten apple.
Biden went on the Charlemagne the God show and said, you ain't black if you don't vote for him. I'm black because that's how I was born and what I am. And Trump is the man that can save this country. Period.
So interesting to talk to those voters, Anna, and multiple people actually mentioned that Charlemagne the God interview. I did press back with some of those folks, mentioning some of Trump's rhetoric that's been seen as racist and bigoted. They said they don't have a problem with that. They view his actions over his words in terms of what they feel he can do for their community. Again, the economy, those pocketbook issues, over and over again, top of the list.
They don't care because Trump hasn't said anything racist. You guys twist it and chop it up and clip it to make it sound racist. Joe Biden literally called black kids roaches, and that wasn't anybody chopping or editing a video at all. That's a fact. Joe Biden stood on stage and called a grown black man a boy and tried to correct himself immediately after and say, oh, that man, live on television. Nobody said anything. Now, if Trump had said that, oh, we know the outrage. We already know. We already know what would be the outrage. And again, Joe Biden got on television and felt comfortable enough to tell a nation of black folks, if we don't vote for him, then we aren't black. Just imagine if Trump said that. If Trump said those exact same words, the exact same words, what would be the reaction to that from mainstream media? Exactly. We all know they'd be losing their minds. But anyway, let's continue on.
What else really stood out to you about the rally?
I will say this rally did look a lot like America. There was a lot of Asian voters there. There were a lot of Hispanic voters, a lot of black voters there, which is not typical for a Trump rally that I go to when I'm in Wisconsin or Michigan. Yeah. So that's what was fascinating.
But it is a cross-section of New York.
Exactly, exactly. And that's specifically why Trump was there yesterday. Those are key demographics that he sees are starting to break for him just a little bit. That door is opening for Hispanic voters to start voting for Trump in record numbers. They want to capitalize on that in this election. They think if they do, it'll spell success for them.
The crowd looked like America. And they say Trump's a racist. Okay.
What are the trends you're seeing among Hispanic voters this year?
Yeah, so we saw a trend among Hispanic voters from 2016 to 2020 where they became less Democratic. Look at the trend that we're seeing right now in the polling, right? So if you look back at Hispanic voters at this point in the 2020 cycle, Joe Biden had a 25-point lead. Look at where that lead is today. It's just 7 points. Donald Trump right now at 44%, if that helped, would be the best performance for a Republican candidate among Hispanic voters since George W. Bush back in 2004. And this is part of a larger trend line, Kate, that we're seeing among non-white voters. We see it among black voters as well. We've discussed that on this program before, whereby they're much more favorable to Donald Trump than they were 4 years ago. And of course, Donald Trump did better amongst both of those groups in 2020 versus how he did in 2016.
What a beautiful time to be alive, right? What a beautiful time to be alive. Things are changing in this country, and it is fantastic to see. I'm going to play this one last clip for you guys of this young lady's reaction to going to this Trump rally, and then we'll get out of here. I don't want to make this video too long, but yeah, it's fantastic to see everybody waking up and realizing these Democrats are no good.
Almost lifelong New Yorker. I've lived here for 30 years. I have never seen anything like what I saw in the Bronx yesterday. Democrats are running scared, and they should be, because it was such a melting pot of everyone. It was like one of those 80s commercials, the United Colors of Benetton. I mean, there were white, there were black, there were Hispanic, there were Asian. I met people who were from Africa. They come all the way here. There were Haitians, there were Jamaicans, there were folks from all walks of life. And you know, his overarching message was, no matter what race, religion, or gender you are, we're all Americans and we're all in this together, and no one deserves to be living like we're living right now, with the skyrocketing costs, with the southern border in an all-time crisis with global conflict, with skyrocketing crime. And it was just like, as you just said, so genuine and so sincere. And by the way, the crowd, there was no conflict. Everybody was helping each other, standing in line, passing out water for each other. It snaked all through the park. The venue actually was at capacity at 3,500. We pre-sold over 10,000 tickets. Final estimates put the crowd somewhere between 20 and 25,000, and I believe it. My friend filmed the line. It stretched for over, 5 minutes of him just running down the sidewalk, trying to capture it all.
The line was so long, it took him over 5 minutes to walk the entire thing. Goodness gracious. In the Bronx, for a Republican, mind you, for a Republican. And, when mainstream media has to report on, how well a Trump rally went, do you know it was fantastic? Especially with his CNN, MSNBC, it was phenomenal. It was so good that they know, we can't really lie about this one. This one's going to be a little way too obvious. And they lie about a lot. So, man, like I said, it's fantastic to see, people waking up of all races and realizing these Democrats have been lying this entire time. They've promised us everything and given us absolutely nothing. They've taken advantage of us. They've taken advantage of our votes and our loyalty to their party. And that is over with. That is going to change, right? And I think that's actually a smart move, right? Because I said this before. If Democrats know that you're always going to vote for them no matter what, and even if you don't vote for them, you're still not going to vote for the other side, then where's the incentive for Democrats to do anything for you? Right? So the whole loyalty to only one side, I think that was ignorant from the start. Black people only being loyal to the Democrat Party was just a nightmare waiting to happen. Of course, Democrats are going to promise you everything because it sounds good, right? But the reality is they haven't done anything. Look at the people of Chicago, the black folks in Chicago that are struggling, that had their schools closed down, and now those schools are open back up for these illegals. They told the black people, oh, we don't have any money. We got to close the schools down. We got to do this. We got to do that. We don't have any money. We can't do anything. As soon as the illegals walk in town, oh, we got money. We got to open this school up. We got to open this facility up. We got to build this facility over here because we got to make sure these folks got housing. What? Now all of a sudden you got the funds? Mind you, Chicago's run by Democrats. Democrats supposed to be the party that loves black people, right? So now people are waking up and realizing these Democrats don't give a damn. And it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see. Stop voting for these folks. Stop voting for these folks. We need to put Republicans in office. All right. Republicans are going to lift this country up as a whole. Right. And that's going to help everybody. The same way it was when Trump was in office the first time. But as always, y'all let me know your thoughts, your opinions on all of this in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.